Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Hawkeye Season 1, Episode 3, Echoes. So this was a whole lot better of an episode. I will say, when it comes to Hawkeye series, just in all 3 episodes, it's an okay series. It's a pretty pleasant series. It's a charming series, but it's not like awesome, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like really awesome or really rock and roll or nothing like that. It's just a nice, cute, pleasant type of show. Like it's probably the first time, like say an MCU TV show has actually felt like an actual TV show. Like for the other part, like the other ones always felt more like movies that are just stuck in TV. Whereas this one just feels like it's a TV show stuck in a TV show. Or it kind of feels like it's a little bit of a cartoon series. Well, no, because a cartoon comic book series has more action than this. So yeah, it's just a TV show. But this was a whole lot better. The comedy was a whole lot better and on point this time. The action sequences were a lot better. The car chase was pretty cool. We actually getting some motivation as to why the tracksuit mob or mafia, whatever their names are, is actually after Ronin and stuff. Like now we actually have a definitive reason as to why, and so it's like, because before it was just kind of like, why are they after him for? And so, but I will say this. There are only 6 episodes in this entire season, and we're already on the 3rd, and not a whole lot has happened. And there's only 3 episodes past. We know Armand has died. We know there's something fishy going on with his nephew, who is the swordsman in the comic book. Other than that, we just don't know. I think it was kind of dumb of them to link 2 different like plots together, because you have the plot of the whole Ronin tracksuit mafia people and the whole Echo thing, and then you have the plot of the whole Kate and Armand and Jack thing and whatever the world's going on with her mom. So to blend those 2 storylines together and somehow make it into a masterpiece of 6 episodes was really lazy and dumb of Marvel. And it is quite like a shame of them and a little bit of embarrassing, because they should have just kept to one plot and kept to it, because the whole thing started off with the whole Armand and Jack thing. I want to see where that's going. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see who killed him and why. I don't want that to be blended in with the whole tracksuit people and the Echo thing and whatever the Ronin stuff is going through. Like I just want that to be his own separate thing. However, like I said before, this was a pretty cool episode, a whole lot better, because the thing about this show is that this show is very, very, very slow paced and stuff. And I remember when I was watching the 2nd episode, I actually fell asleep. I had to wake back up and remember where I was at, and then and I think I already mentioned that in my 2nd review and stuff, because like it was just kind of getting boring with all the talking and not enough action. But I will say this, the hugest, biggest highlight and the best thing this series has for it is Haley Steinfeld. I swear to God, I keep saying this every time I talk about her, either in Hawkeye or Dickinson. I am so proud of her. Like, you have no idea. Ever since True Grit, I have been a fan of that woman. And I've only seen her in 3, well, I guess you could say 4. But 4 was just voice when she was Spider-Gwen. But yeah, I've always been proud of her. She always delivers in everything she does. She is just that good. And yes, I still think she's a whole lot better actress than Jeremy Renner and everything. Like I've never really felt him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's always just bored me. But he was pretty funny in this episode, so that was kind of cool. Like I said before, this show has made me start thinking about him a whole lot differently, because has a lot more personality and stuff, and it doesn't, like, it's just weird. Like in the Marvel movies, Like he just never seems genuine. Like he never seems like he wants to say the stuff he wants to say or do the things he wants to do. I know for that Avengers movie, he was really upset with that because he was brainwashed with the whole movie. But he did some cool stuff when he was brainwashed. It just when he wasn't brainwashed, he was just boring and stuff. And so like yeah, so I'm so happy they picked her to be in this like show. She is truly like, the best thing, period, in this whole thing. Also, the little Russian dude, or the big Russian dude who's like part of like the tracksuit mafia thing, I recognize him. I don't know what his real name is in real life. But I saw him in the 100 season 2. And then I saw him big time in Van Helsing. Um, oh God, I forgot the name he played in that, but he's like one of the main characters and stuff. And that's a really interesting show. I can't wait to talk about that in full. I only talked about one episode from a Halloween thing, but yeah. So like, oh, also I want to say, Lucky the dog, the pizza dog. Man, I'm mad I got tricked. I thought that dog only had one eye in real life. It turns out that that dog has both eyes. Haley took a picture with him. I'm just like, what? So yeah. So I have no idea what he looks like in the comic, but I guess he has one eye in the comic. But yeah, man, they CGI that dog's eye. Like now I know why it looks kind of weird shut. Like it looks like digitally shut. And I'm just like, y'all got me. All that thing for nothing. And we finally get to see Echo doing her thing, which is kind of cool in real life because Echo in the comics is a Native American woman who is deaf. And the actress who plays her is also deaf in real life and also Native American. But she's also a real life amputee. I had to look that up. After that whole dog eye thing, I had to make sure, like, was she like a real amputee or not? And that's great that like they're showing people of diverse nature because like I've been seeing that a lot lately. Not diverse in like race or sexuality and all like that, but diverse in like people with I guess you could call them like disabilities. I know some people don't like using that term, but that's really the only one I can like think of right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been seeing like a lot of like deaf people, blind people, people with Down syndrome, autism, amputees. I've been seeing a lot of that lately on TV. Something you just never see before. I remember that R.L. Stein Disney Plus series that I do not like. I think I don't know what it's called. I forgot, but it's like a horror comedy type thing. They had a kid on there. It was a boy. He was like an amputee, and I was like, wow, I was really taken surprised by that. And so that's really great that they're showing a lot of that stuff. And it's like, I know, like one of my favorite deaf like actresses is from The Walking Dead, and she also is in the Marvel Internal movies. So now they have like two like deaf actresses in the MCU with who does like ASL. However, this is what's really weird. The character she plays, Echo, is getting a spin-off series on Disney Plus. I'm just like, what is going on in the world of comic books? Why are all these villains getting their own movies and like their own TV shows? Like that's getting on my nerves. Like villains are supposed to be bad and the heroes are the one you're supposed to worship. And so I've been thinking about that. Now there's this one YouTuber, she keeps saying that the Young Avengers are coming to the MCU as some part of either Phase 4 or Phase 5. That makes sense because she said like a lot of the Young Avengers have now been popping up in these Disney Plus shows. And so think about it like this. They basically are doing what the DCEU tried to do when Josh Whedon took over. You know how they were trying to do like the Injustice Society thing? What if they're doing that for like the Disney Plus shows? Think about it. You have all these young superheroes popping up in these Disney Plus shows. At some point, they're gonna be in like the MCU movies and stuff. And so what better way to get acquainted with their villains than to have them in their own TV show. Because Agnes is gonna have her very own show. 'Cause I remember thinking of that, like, why are you giving her her own show for? And now Echo's having one. Loki had one. But Loki, I don't know what the world Loki is. I don't know if he's villain, hero, whatever, or anti, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know what that dude is. So it's like, it makes sense, you get more acquainted with them, and then boom, they start their own villain superhero group for the Young Avengers and stuff. So that makes like total sense. However, when it comes to these villains, I'm not watching their TV show. I watch superheroes beat up on villains. I don't watch it the other way around. And so, like, that's one reason why I haven't watched Venom yet. I'm sorry. But, look, to me, you ain't Venom until the symbiote takes over Spider-Man first, and then the black suit Spider-Man comes, and then Venom comes. I don't want to see that in reverse. I don't care about who gets the movie rights to whatever. I don't want to see that. And so, like, this episode, it takes place exactly where the last one left off. So, like, they're captive and they're tied up, and they put them. This is the part that's kind of getting on my nerves now. All this humor in the MCU. This show has way too much humor. It's almost like a sitcom at times and stuff. And I need them to be a bit more serious, because the MCU is getting to the point where it's almost for like babies and stuff. DC is where you go for like the mature stuff, and Marvel's where you go to like, put your kids in front of the TV and let that be the babysitter. So they're on those, what are those things called? I forget. I used to be on one of those when I was a kid. Like, you sit on it, you put money in it, and you rock back and forth on it. So they got them on there, and then the mobster dudes, they're just very comedic. Like, there's this one dude talking to like his girlfriend or something, and he having problems, so he asked like Kate for like advice. I will say that was funny when she gave him the advice, because Haley does such a charming way of doing that, and the guy, like, he's like, yeah, that's some good advice, and then he like leaves and stuff like that. And then so we get the flashback of Echo and her dad teaching her ASL, and and talking to her and stuff like that, and she loves her dad. And then boom, what happens? When she gets older, she sees Ronan taking out her mob, and then her dad is dying. And so boom, there's the motivation right there. That's why they want Ronan and stuff. She wants to know why Kate has like the suit, and like Kate's really unable to answer at first. And then she starts like choking her or something like that, or she puts in some type of headlock maneuver type thing. I will say there was a lot of like stuff I've never seen on TV from like a deaf person's point of view of when a person talks to them. It was very fascinating. I also think it was really fascinating that they gave Clint a real life like disability for like a superhero. Because you think of superhero, you think of them as immortal, but Hawkeye is just about as human can be. So for him to go through all them explosions and this and that, and having him be half deaf, that makes total sense. Now, of course, the real reason why they did that is so they can have him kind of like connect with like Echo a little bit with the whole ASL thing and the deaf thing, and so that kind of like ties into that. Because I don't think in the comic books, I don't think he was ever deaf. I don't think. And so like, well, he's hard headed, but he ain't deaf and stuff. And so like, so he frees himself, and he's doing all this cool acrobatic stuff, and he gets his bow, and he's going to work, whooping on them, and he's having a hard time taking out Echo and stuff, which is kind of weird, because you think he would be more better than her in a fight, because he beats up all these like mob dudes, and he was Ronin, and he's an assassin and all that stuff. So I'm starting to wonder if she's similar to that of Cassandra Cain in like the Batman comic books, I wonder. So like, or at least Talia al Ghul or something like that. And so he frees Kate in one of the most cool but yet disgusting ways ever. He does like a trick shot, and so with his arrow, and it's like, I think it slices something on one of the mob dudes. I think it was like his ear or something like that, and it just like frees her. And so when they make the escape, they get like in a car chase and stuff. And she wants the like pimped out car, but he wants like the classic. So there's like a car chase. I will say the car chase was pretty cool, but it was sometimes it felt a bit staggered a little bit. Like with the camera movement, they try to do like all in one shot. And you can tell that like it was part of it was green screen while they was inside it, because you know he was driving and he wasn't even looking where he was going as he's playing with his arrows and stuff. So you can tell that was like a green screen, but it was an impressive one at that. Cause most green screens when they be driving is kind of weird looking, you know. And I love the car chase scene. Like that was very good. That was very comedic and stuff like that. Especially when Kate gets to shoot like all the arrows and then all the trick arrows, and they had like the goop arrow and like the fog arrow and the Ant-Man one too, the Pym particle one and stuff. I was like, where is this going? Why does he want her to shoot straight up in the air for? Like, yeah, it does make it go like further distance and stuff, because I have my own bow and arrow and a crossbow, and you know when you shoot straight up in the air at like a slant, it makes it go like a lot further distance than just shooting like straight forward and stuff. And so like I'm just like, where is this going? And then I'm like, I recognize his arrow. I'm like, oh wait, isn't that a thing from the Civil War movie? And then boom, it goes like gigantic and stuff. And dude, I feel like I'm missing something. I know she goes to get her bow back because she really wants her bow and stuff. And so, God, I think I feel like I'm missing something when they was in the warehouse and they was fighting, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, so they eventually like get away from like the mob people, and it's cool because he gives her like the USB flash drive arrow from the Avenger movie, the first one. And I love how she tricks them. She's all like, "You don't want to know what this arrow does," and then she shoots at him and hits his chest with a loud thud, and he's like freaking out. That dude she shoots with the SUV flash drive arrow, that's the dude I was talking about before that I know from Van Helsing and stuff. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like Alek, Alec or Alik or something like that. I don't know. Like you can tell, like it's like a foreign name and stuff. But yeah, it's that dude. So anyway, 'cause he's a Canadian actor. So if he's a Canadian actor, they must be filming in Canada and stuff. And so like, because you know they'll never film in New York. It's way too busy. And it's cheaper to do it in Canada. But you know what's cheaper than Canada? New Zealand. And those New Zealand, them Kiwi people, they can pull off those American accents. Sometimes not as good, but a lot of them can. And so, so they get away and they talk about like how like, oh, when they I forgot where they end up at. They end up somewhere. Was it a subway? I can't remember. But she's all like, out of nowhere, she's all like, I gotta feed the dog. He's been cooped up in that place for far too long and stuff. I'm just like, that was so random, but it was funny. But so then they had like the little cafe and they're eating, and this is the point where he has a hard time hearing her because Echo smashed his earpiece and stuff, his hearing aid. And so, you know, she draws like the classic Hawkeye, the original version from like the comic books and stuff. I know there's a lot of fanboys out there who wants this version of Hawkeye to wear that costume. But look, it works in animation, it works in the comic book, but there is no way in the world it is gonna work out in live action. It will look way too silly. Now, they could always give him a couple of his other ones from the comic books, from the Ultimate series. That was a little bit more practical looking and more update and stuff like that. But I know that like there's this one dude from What Culture, and he wants like boom, like purple everywhere, and the mask and the suit and all this other stuff. Like there's so many fanboys out there in the comic book. Like there's this one dude like. All of the live action Batman suits have been amazing. Even the one with the nipples and the giant cod pieces, like you gotta admit, the rest of the suit was cool. But there's this one dude who wants like the gray and the black, and he wants the underwear over the pants. I'm like, who wants to see that, man? Like, nobody don't want to see that and stuff. And so like they go back to the dog, and so they attend to him, and um, what is it? He wants her to like name the dog because like the dog still doesn't have a name, and she's getting close. She's calling him Pizza something, but so that was kind of a cute scene with the whole her helping him out for a chance because he's talking to his son on the phone, thinks it's his wife. He has no idea because he can't hear, and so like um she writes down what the son is saying. I will say this about his family. This is why this show needs to be longer. This show needs to be more in depth. Even though it's slow paced, it speeds through some things and more things need to be explained. Because, I want to see how his family truly feels about him being back in the field. You know what I'm saying? Because that was his whole thing in the second movie, the Avengers one, is that he just wants to be with his family. He no longer wants to be in the field. And so, like, he's constantly having to go back, and it's kind of like, does he ever really get to see his family? And it's like, if I was his wife, that should have been some good dramatic stuff right there with her being pissy about that, but we don't get to see it. I know he mentions, oh, no, I remember when they'll be interrogated, he did mention Black Widow, talking about how she killed Ronan, and then Echoes is kind of like, well, that's kind of convenient that his killer is also dead too, so she don't believe him. Eventually, it is going to get out that he is Ronan, and when that does, I wonder would they make him face jail time for that. I wonder, because remember he was already a fugitive because of the whole Civil War Sokovia Accord thing and stuff like that. Now this is what's really weird. The new Black Widow from the Black Widow movie, the blonde-headed lady, she's supposed to be in this series at some point, maybe towards the end. I don't know how or what capacity and stuff. I don't know about Lady Hydra, that Seinfeld lady character role. I gotta say, man, I'm so sick of this comedy. Like when I was watching the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing, the something Reese Dreyfuss, that lady, the Seinfeld lady. I know a lot of people was hyped. I know a lot of people love that. I'm not for all this comedy stuff in Marvel. Like Lady Hydra, I think that's who she plays. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me now, because I ain't at my computer right now. But I'm pretty sure that's who she plays. And that woman's supposed to be tough as nails. She's literally the female version of Nick Fury and stuff. And they just have her as just a joke in the MCU because everything is kiddie for the MCU and everything. I'm so sick and tired of that. Now there have been other versions of her in that Wolverine movie, the second one, but she wasn't really Lady Hydra in that. But she had like a weird power. But anyway, getting off topic. So like, what happens after that? Oh, there's some mention of the Kingpin and stuff. And so that's kind of interesting. Like I've been saying before, like I heard from that one lady, Daredevil was gonna be in the MCU. We already knew Charlie was gonna play Matt Murdock in the new Spider-Man movie as like his lawyer. It's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that there's gonna be a fourth season of Daredevil coming to the MCU, and they already just mentioned like the Kingpin, not by name, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what happened on Supergirl. They kept talking about my cousin, my cousin, my cousin. They weren't allowed to say him by name, and then they finally had to show him in the second season when they finally got the rights because Henry just doesn't want to play ball. Now he wants to play ball. He wants that paycheck and stuff. But there's no telling what's gonna go on with him. And so like, God, what the world happened after all that? I know, now I remember. She goes back to her place because she tells him about, like, Armand and Jack and the sword and how she tried to stab him in the eye and how he parried and everything. And so, about the whole Ronin sword. And so, they go to like her mom's place, and she's trying to hack through like the system, where it's like blocking her for some reason because her mom doesn't want her to have access and stuff. And as Hawkeye's just like walking around the place, admiring how great her place is, here comes Jack with the Ronin sword. I just think to myself, whoa, here's that dude's sword all up in his face. And here comes Jack, the most mysterious character in this entire series. And so then it ends, and I'm just like, I still feel like combining both those storylines and smushing them together is just not a good idea. They need to be separate. Either separate in the series or separate in like seasons wise. This show needs to be longer. 6 episodes is not enough. Like let's pretend to say this show was like all kinds of like rock and roll, right? Wouldn't you want more than just 6 episodes? Look, I said this before when I fixed that Masters of the Universe Revelation thing on that video. I'm an American. This is an American show. It's filmed in Canada. This is an American show based on American characters. And in America, when we used to watch TV, we like a good old-fashioned 20 to 22 episodes. We like them long, we like them big, and we like them uncut. South Park movie. That's how we like our shows. We like them long, we like them to be entertaining, and like we want them to be in-depth. You know what I'm saying? This whole European formula that they have adapted for streaming shows of being anywhere between 6 to 8 to 10 to 13 episodes, it is not cutting it for me, because like I want more. The only time I don't want more, and I got tons of shows to watch. I'm like, oh man, can this be anything be like shorter? I'm like, woohoo, 6 episodes. That's the only time. Other than that, I want them long. I want 20 to 22 episodes. That's what I want. If Stank Butt Riverdale can have 22 episodes, and Riverdale's weird, then every other show that's better than Riverdale can have 22 episodes. Don't you know? Now, I will say it was also kind of cool seeing all those trick arrows that Hawkeye has. Because, both Hawkeye and Green Arrow are both known for, like, having trick arrows. Green Arrow a bit more. Hawkeye not so much from what I've always seen in animation. But, he does use them and stuff. So, I'm hoping episode 4 will be a whole lot better. I need more action. Some of the comedy stuff is cool, but just dial it down a bit. Oh, also the Dinah part. That part was kind of weird. It's like they was looking directly into the camera and talking to us, like breaking the fourth wall. That was just kind of bizarre and everything. Like, I'm not really used to that. Like, I feel like I'm being stared at and talked to and stuff through the TV screen. Like, don't look at me and stuff. Now I see why they don't want people breaking the fourth wall when like TV shows, because it's just bizarre, man. I just felt weirded out by that. But all in all, this was a pretty cool episode. It wasn't like great or spectacular, but it was a whole lot better than the first 2 and stuff. I'm hoping it gets a whole lot better than that, with way more action, way more trick shots. Not necessarily trick arrow, but trick shots and everything, Because watching people shoot bows and arrows is like fun, but it gets kind of irritating with this whole CGI arrows, because they always look too crisp and clean when they shoot out and everything. But you have to do that to be safe, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.